Hey, what's up guys, TechTime here and I'm back again with a brand new video. So in this one I did get my hands on the Nothing Phone 4a Pro, and this is essentially my first smartphone from this company, and it has been going on for a while. I've debated whether I should get this phone or not, but I really found it very interesting. And let's talk about it real quick, because ideally this device here, from the couple hours that I've used, it made me realize that this might be one of my favorite Android phones that I've tested this year so far. And it mainly has to do with the design and the software working together and to create a whole new experience. So beginning with the design itself, this phone is made entirely out of aircraft grade body aluminum. So basically a more premium feel, and its starting price point is $499. And on the back as well, you have the camera cutout, which looks funky, but in my opinion, it looks very cool. And you also have the glyph matrix, which we will talk about later on in the video. And as far as the phone itself goes, it is thinner than previous generations, so it comes in at 7.9 millimeters. Since this is my first Nothing phone, it feels really good in the hand, and like I said, the buttons on the right hand side feel very solid, clicky and tactile, so they definitely did a good job as far as making the design very premium. And again, the whole idea behind this phone is software and hardware working together to create a whole experience. So now that we talked about the hardware a little bit, you also get the essential key on the right hand side, which takes screenshots by default, but you can customize it in the settings. But essentially the other thing that I want to speak on is this display. So you get a 6.8-inch AMOLED display that has up to 144 hertz of high refresh rate. It's fairly bright. It's not the brightest that I've used, but it's definitely bright enough for my usage, and it's very good outdoors. And overall though, it's definitely a solid AMOLED display. Now, the thing about the 144 hertz refresh rate, while it is nice, I do have to say that this phone can only push 120 hertz in your normal tasks. So the only way you can get at that 144 hertz is if you have apps that actually support it. But by default, it is set up in dynamic mode, which helps conserve battery life. But you can also change it to have it where it supports high refresh rate all the time if you really want to. And it also does have HDR support. Okay, so now that we covered the kind of design and display, it's only right that we talk about the camera system. And again, the camera design itself looks pretty cool as is. And if you look at where the glyph matrix is at, you see this kind of red button, and that indicates when you're recording a video. But as far as the camera specs go, you get a triple camera setup. You get a 50 megapixel main sensor, a 50 megapixel periscope sensor that can zoom up to 140 times via digital zoom, and also you get an 8 megapixel ultra wide with 120-degree field of view. So not that wide, but for the most part, it's pretty good. And as far as the images that this phone takes right off impressions, they're good for the price, which is $499. So they're not really going to compete with the 17 Pro Max or the S26 Ultra or the Pixel 10 Pro, but it does the job very well. It's very good for the price that this phone comes in. And overall though, from a user experience, like I said, the biggest thing when it comes to this phone is just the entire experience. So it may not have the best-in-class performance or best-in-class camera or best-in-class display, but it has good enough basics that the whole entire experience feels really well. And from the performance, you do get the Qualcomm Snapdragon 7 Gen 4 processor, which can handle pretty much everything you throw at it. It's not going to be the Snapdragon 8 series, but it's going to be good enough for, I think, most people. And you get a solid battery life with the Clean Nothing OS, which is really nice, and not really a lot of bloatware that comes with it. And the glyph matrix is so customizable, you can basically do whatever you want from that, and it's really fun to use. So I have it set up to where if I turn on the volume up and down, it indicates where I am as far as the phone's volume. And you can do a lot of things with it. You can put emojis that come with standard with the phone, and I think they have like a app store to it where you can pay for glyph matrix, which it's not going to happen on my end, but you can if you want to. And overall though, the entire phone is definitely competes with phones at this price point. In some scenarios it beats them. So I'm interested to see how this phone hangs with the likes of the A36, the likes of the Moto Edge, even something like the Galaxy S25 FE. I think this phone is going to be very well and it's going to compete really good in that regard. It is missing wireless charging, which for the people that use it often might be disappointed in that. But to me personally, I can live without it. It would have been nice to have it, but it's not the end of the world for my usage. And overall though, I do want to thank you all so much for watching, and I do want to hear your thoughts about the Nothing Phone 4a Pro. I have a lot of videos lined up for this device, so be sure you stay tuned, you stay subscribed. I have a lot more testing to do on this device to see how it stacks up. So with that being said, I want to thank you all so much for watching, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Thank you for watching.